Welcome back to In Focus Kentucky, where each week we'll tackle one different issue impacting the state. All right, Governor, the Right to Work Act, to some it could be considered controversial, but to help people fully understand what that is and what exactly is it?
The right to work, I think, is largely misunderstood by some who oppose it. I don't know why anybody would find something that creates opportunity and jobs and wealth production and taxpayers in any state to be controversial, but for some it is. I think it's a threat to some, but largely because they don't understand it. Right to work simply means you cannot be forced as a condition of employment to pay dues for something that you may or may not want to be a part of or to be party to. In other words, the government can't, by law in a state, in this case, dictate what you do with the money that you earn at your job. And you paying dues for something isn't a condition of whether or not you can work at a particular place. If you have the skills and they want you and you're willing to work there, why shouldn't you be able to do that without having certain monies forcibly removed from your wallet? It's a pretty that's America. Americans don't like the government telling you. There's some element of it, but why should we have things that aren't necessary? What we do know, among survey after survey that have been done of top executives for companies large and small, fully a third of companies will not expand in or move to a state that is not a right to work state, because they don't want to have the ability to have their hands tied. They don't want to have their hands tied so that they can't hire people who don't want to be forcibly separated from some of their money. And so employers say, I want to be able to hire from whoever. I want, as the employer, to be able to decide who works at my company. I want the best and the brightest men and women to work for us. So some companies just say straight up, we only want to go where it is a right to work state. Now more than half the states in America are. We were the 27th state. There's now, Missouri has followed as well, so there's at least 28 states now. But it's interesting too, the folks who most are concerned are many people who are members of the skilled trades and are members of unions. But they should not be threatened at all, because it's interesting if you look at the 5 states in America where union membership is actually not only increasing but increasing the fastest, because in most states union membership is declining and has been for some time. The 5 states in America where it's increasing and increasing the fastest, every one of them is a right to work state. In fact, the number 1 state where union membership is 25% higher than it was 2 years ago is Tennessee. Indiana, that went right to work 5 years ago, has 50,000 more union members now than they did 5 years ago when they went right to work. Why is that? When you go right to work and you're fishing in a pond that has a third more fish in it, you're going to catch more fish. And when there's that many fish to catch and clean and cook, you need a lot of people, union and non-union alike, to do it. Now, obviously, we're not really catching fish, but economically we are. And when there are jobs to be done, there's union jobs and non-union jobs. This is good for workers, union or non-union. When you go to a state that is right to work, where the employer can make decisions about how to invest their money to employ people and pour the money back into the worker wins. That's why right to work matters, and it's not a coincidence that the best year, we passed right to work January 7th, the best year we ever had in the history of Kentucky for attracting new investment into our state was $5.1 billion. $5.1 billion was the best year we'd ever had. We just finished 2017. $9.2 billion. We crushed our old record. And the reason being is that many of these companies have said straight up they never would have come here if we hadn't passed right to work. These are multi-billion-dollar opportunities. So the proof is in the pudding, and the pudding tastes great.
And speaking of opportunities and potential new companies, businesses, industries coming to our state, what type of new industries and jobs would you like to bring to the state of Kentucky?
Some like we've had. Little transformative agents, not only the Fords and the Toyotas, who have been instrumental in the UPSs and the GEs, big players who have been here employing a lot of people for a long time. These are people, GM making the Corvettes. These are the kind of investments. But then the new ones, the Brady Industries, the Amazons, the Enterblues, people that are coming with 21st century disruptive businesses that are going to change their industries and that are going to do it from right here in Kentucky. I want people who make things. My vision for Kentucky is that we become the engineering and manufacturing hub of excellence in America, that nowhere in America is more synonymous with engineering and manufacturing excellence in the 21st century. And if we are to be that, and we can be that, and we are well on our way to being that, then we have to invest in the kind of infrastructure that will attract companies, that will attract other companies that will make this happen. That's what we're doing. The people who produce the materials, the people who then transform those materials, the people who turn those materials into goods that people buy. That's what's happening in Kentucky. That's where we're going to continue to focus.
And obviously that doesn't happen overnight, so it's going to take a while to get that accomplished. So how do you kind of foresee that playing out?
I grew up in a rural environment where we raised crops, and so I always use the farming analogies, which some people get and some people don't. But you put a seed in the ground, you don't go out the next day and pick something out of the garden or out of the fields to eat. It takes time. There's a germination process, and then there's a fertilization and a cultivation and an irrigation and a patience factor. If you want to eat radishes, yeah, you can get them quickly. If you want Bibb lettuce, you can eat it quickly. But if you want corn and if you want melons, you want things that people really want, it takes longer. So we're putting seeds in the ground right now, and you're right. It will take 2, 3, 4 years for some of those seeds to start to germinate. But what I'm confident is that they will germinate, and the fruit that will be born will be great.
Now, how do you get some of these outside companies to invest in Kentucky?
We go out and we convince them. I mean, Abraham Lincoln, a famous son of Kentucky, famous for saying many things, is also a great quote of his that I love. He said, "Good things may come to those who wait, but only the things left behind by those who hustle." Isn't that a great quote? Good things may come to those who wait, but only the things left behind by those who hustle. In Kentucky, with our economic development cabinet, we are out hustling other states. We are out hustling other areas of the world. And we're competing for business globally and bringing these companies here by convincing them that we will work with them, we will partner with them, we will help them, we will cut red tape, we will make it easier to do business, and we will minimize the burden associated, and we will deliver them a qualified 21st century, well-trained workforce. That's what businesses are looking for.
I also know that we did some research that the state received over $8 billion in new corporate investment in 2017. So how do you expect that to impact the average Kentuckian?
Yeah, even at the end of the year, that came on strong again. 9.2 is where we actually ended the year. We had a number of announcements even in December. $9.2 billion. It will affect the average Kentucky because guess what? When those dollars are spent, they're going to be taxed. When they produce jobs, those people are going to work and they're going to pay taxes. When capital investment is made, there's a cost on property taxes associated with the things that are going to be built. All those monies will flow back into the public coffers that will pay for law enforcement, in infrastructure, in education, and all the things we expect and need and want from our government.
Well, Governor, we're going to take a break, but we want to continue the conversation with you and love to get your feedback on the Work Ready Skills Initiative.
Sure.
As we come back here on In Focus Kentucky.